The life and death unvaulting, as I dubbed it. Honestly, this is one of the best unvaulting that Digital Extremes did, as both frames are very good and useful. NEKROS Prime is known to be one of the best farming frames. If you want to acquire valuable resources in the game fast, then NEKROS is your guy. While Oberon Prime is a jack of all trades. He can almost do everything in the game. Idle and hunting, survival, defense, and many more. He is the ideal frame for players who like versatility as the main feature for their character. But the unvaulting does not only include good frames, but weapons, and fashion. And we will tackle all of that in this video. This will be a guide not just for buyers, but for players who want to know how to build these new unvaulted prime weapons and frames. So, join me for a couple of minutes, as I try to give you some tips on how to get, and how to use this new stuff in the game. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button by the way, and I advise you to watch the video until the end, as I will be giving you the mechanics on how to possibly win a dual pack Prime access. Yes, you have the chance to win everything included in the Prime Unvault. So stick around, enjoy and learn a thing or two about the new Prime stuff. To begin with, let's discuss first where do you get all the Prime parts needed for the frames and weapons. It's really common knowledge, but for those new to the game, the first thing you should do once there are new Prime parts is to check out the Void Relic Refinement tab. In here, you will see all the farmable relics in the game, including the new ones. The ones that are almost transparent are the relics you haven't farmed yet, and most probably, the ones that yield the new Prime parts. Next question. Where do you farm these relics? If you hover on the relics, then press the tab key, it will give you information on could find these relics. For example, Aegis 6 can be found in certain areas in the Void, and as well on Saturn or Valis, in way of bounty missions. Each location have a different drop rate, and certain locations have a better chance of giving you their new relics, like the Aegis and Lith relics. I don't know if you notice this, but new Aegis and Lith relics are better farmed in either Saturn or Valis missions. I really need to update my relic farming guide, as it seems that the developer made the farming easy, but for now, just go to either Saturn or Fortuna and see what bounty missions yield these relics. Same goes for new Neo relics. In my honest opinion, they are better farmed in bounty missions also. The only thing that differ is the Meso relics. There are numerous places that you can find these relics, but still, the best spot to farm them is the defense mission in Io Jupiter. So far, this is the only relic farm that hasn't changed, and it's still the easiest way to farm these new Meso relics. Be sure to check back on the channel later, as I will be updating my relic farming guide. But for now, let's proceed to discuss if the new Prime weapons, accessories, and frames are worth getting. First off, NEKROS Prime. This frame is a no-brainer, and every player should have NEKROS. The frame is an absolute must-have for all the Tenno's farming needs. If you want to get important resources like Kuva, Endo, and other things needed for crafting, then NEKROS is your guy. The thing about this frame is it can provide extra loot, but this doesn't mean that he is only meant for farming purposes. The frame can also tank and farm at the same time. In fact, taking advantage of his Shield of Shadows augment, paired with the Despoil augment, will let you be a good Necromancer tank, and a good farming frame at the same time. So why get NEKROS Prime then? Aside from the fact that it's good looking compared to the normal version, it also have some slight increase in stats. But the best part of NEKROS Prime is the fact that he also got some awesome accessories along with the Prime variant. Honestly, I find the Acanthus Prime accessories excellent when it comes to fashion frame. Not just the accessories, but the Cyandana that comes along with NEKROS Prime is excellent. How about Oberon Prime? Well, in terms of accessories, I honestly like the stuff that NEKROS Prime have compared to Oberon Prime. The Sugira Prime Cyandana may look good, but it's nothing compared to the Acanthus Prime Cyandana in my opinion. Plus, the only thing that comes along with the Prime Cyandana in the Oberon Prime accessories is a Shugatra named Aroka Prime Shugatra. Long story short, I find NEKROS Prime accessories more fashion-worthy compared to Oberon Prime's accessories. But then again, that's an only personal preference. Okay, we are just discussing the Prime accessories here, and not tackling Oberon Prime, so let's get back into it. Like I've said earlier, Oberon is a jack of all trades. and for those who love versatility, then this is the frame that you would want on your arsenal. Okay, here's a quick little story about Grind Hard Squad. Before I started doing videos on YouTube, I was a game blogger. I was usually doing game articles and guides on my blog, until someone introduced me to Warframe. The very first Prime access I have encountered was Oberon Prime. Honestly, I was curious about Oberon Prime back then. The trailer just blew me away, and after watching it, I've decided to try out Warframe. But instead of Oberon being my first frame, I decided to be a Rhino main. Well, I'm sorry lads, I was a noob back then and just don't know how to use Oberon. But seriously, Oberon Prime was the first Prime frame that gets me into playing Warframe, and the moment I have mastered this frame, that's the time I've decided to play Warframe, as long as there is content being made for this game. But mind you, looks alone are not the only factor that let me decide to stick with this game and love Oberon. The frame is really useful, that you can take him in almost every mission in the game. Compared to NEKROS Prime, whose main purpose is farming, Oberon can play different roles in the game. He can be a great supporter, crowd control, healer, and can also be a good semi-tank frame. Honestly, I can't put down the same mods for every type of mission in the game. That's how versatile Oberon is. All of his abilities can be good in a certain situation. For example, Smite and Hallowed Ground are perfect in Eidolon hunts, and could possibly replace the likes of Harrow in the team. If you add the Smite Infusion Augment on your build, then add up some efficiency and power strength, then you can both negate the magnetic damage coming from the Eidolon, and as well as give damage buff to you and your team members. Not to mention that he can also heal the team with his renewal ability. The last ability is also very handy. It's not just used for lifting and crowd controlling targets, but also stripping armor when paired with the Hallowed Ground ability. One last thing. Many disregard this fact, but Oberon is one of those frames that is condition overload friendly. Most of his abilities have guaranteed status proc, and this always sums up to higher condition overload damage buff. So one frame is crucial when it comes to farming, and one is a very versatile frame that you can take possibly in every mission. Clearly, both NEKROS Prime and Oberon Prime are two of the must-get frames for every Warframe player. But not just the frames, but also the weapons. This Life and Death Unvaulting has some of the most sought-out weapons in the game. The Guillotine Prime, Tigress Prime, and the Silver and Aegis Prime. But squad leader, what about the Tigress Prime? Don't you like it? I have no hate for this weapon, but I just don't like how it fires. It's fun for others, but I'm a fan of a burst down damage or one-time nuke. Long story short, it's not my kind of gun. On the other hand, Tigress Prime may sound overrated for some, but still, this is one of the best status shotgun in the game. Aside from the fact that it is beautifully crafted, each shot can dish out not just insane damage, but lots of statuses proc. But squad leader, this can't help me nuke a room full of enemies. Well, what can you expect from a two-barreled shotgun? Tigress Prime is meant to take down bullet sponge single targets. It's a gun made for bosses. The next stop is the melee weapons. Honestly, both Guillotine Prime and Silver and Aegis Prime are a no-brainer, must-have melee weapons. Both weapons are strong, and with the recent melee changes, these two have become stronger. Silver and Aegis Prime is the best when it comes to sword and shield melee weapons. Right now, you can just add Weeping Wounds to get 100% status chance at max combo counter, then you can just add elemental damage mods to further boost its damage. Furthermore, this weapon can red crit now. With the help of Blood Rush and the Gladiator mods on Sentinel, you can easily dish out red crit damage at max combo counter. But that's not all. The final Harbinger combo does proc/damage. Its Null Warning combo allows you to proc/damage, which is good against armored units. All in all, Silver and Aegis Prime is on top of the food chain right now, and it's definitely a must-have weapon. Moving on, we got Guillotine Prime. Unlike Silver and Aegis Prime, who relies on the stance to proc/damage, this heavy blade boasts a ton of slash damage. Aside from the heavy slash damage, this melee weapon has tons of status chance and critical chance, which makes it perfect for a hybrid build. Although I would say that Grand Prime is better by an inch, the Guillotine Prime can still murder a crowd of enemies with just a simple spinning attack. The Broken Bull combo of the Cleaving Whirlwind stance is super easy to pull off now, and in fact, Heavy blades can now be crowned as one of the new spin-to-win weapons in the game. So that's all about it, lads. Do remember that all the things I have shared in this video are personal preference. In the end, you have the right to choose whether you buy or farm the Prime parts and accessories. Before you leave, let's do the Prime Vault Dual Pack giveaway. The mechanics are pretty simple. Just let me know in the comment box below what are your favorite Prime weapons or frames in this unvaulting. Don't forget to add your in-game name and as well as the platform you are playing. I will announce the winner on my next video, so be sure to check back later. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.